So this is your first time qualifying for the National B. How does it feel?
It feels really great.
I mean, how difficult was it to get there?
It took a lot of studying and a lot of work, but
And I was about to say, I see some of the study aids
yeah.
behind you, but how do you go about studying spelling? To me, it's like either you know it or you don't.
Yeah, well, I looked through the study guides and the study list, and we kind of just go through them, and the words that I miss, I just go back over until I get them right, and I got them nailed.
And what got you into spelling? I mean, have you always ran around when you were a little kid, mom or dad tell you you were always spelling things?
No. Well, I was in fourth grade, and in the school newspaper, I saw these kids. They were in the spelling bee, and they looked like they were having a lot of fun. So I thought I'd try it the next year, and I got out on the first word, and I got kind of mad, and I wanted to try again next year, and then I won that, and then I've just liked them ever since.
What was that word? Do you remember?
Compromise in fourth grade.
Okay. And you guys are leaving Sunday for DC?
Yeah.
Is that, I mean, when's the B actually start for you?
The prelims are Tuesday.
Tuesday. So it gives you time to relax a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so do you watch or have you watched the spelling bee before this? Your dad just told me you kind of rewatched last year's final, but
Mm-hmm.
I mean, do you sit down and actually watch the spelling bee?
Not the whole thing, but sometimes in my free time I like to watch it.
And knowing you've qualified for going to DC and you rewatched the finals from last year, what were you thinking?
I thought that I needed to study a lot more because those words, I had no idea how to spell them.
Had you ever heard of some of the words before?
No.
So, and one question that my producer wants to ask, who's a huge spelling bee freak, um, is there a language of origin that's harder than others for you? If so, what is it?
Um, I think Greek because they use PHs and Ys most of the time, but sometimes they'll like trick you and use an F in there, so you're never really sure on like how it could be spelled.
And this year it's a little different when you get there and you get going. You actually have to kind of take a test before the thing really starts.
Mm-hmm.
Has it been difficult all of a sudden realizing you need to know the definition?
Yeah.
I mean, how do you go about studying that? I mean, or does that make it more difficult to study for the B in general?
Um, yeah, I definitely think it makes it harder because it takes longer to try and memorize the definitions, not just knowing how to spell them. Um, and it just, then you have a lot of things going on in your mind, and it's like all jumbled up.
And do you study roots and stuff like that when you study? So maybe knowing the root of a word kind of should hopefully
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
help you study. How are you feeling going into this? I mean, it's a complete new experience for you.
Yeah, I feel really good going into this. I mean, I hope that I could win, but there are kids that study a lot harder than me. But I'll just see how far I go with all the studying that I've been doing.
And you got a couple years left to
Yeah.
do it. So I mean, you got knocked out the first word the first year. Now a couple years later, you're going to nationals. If you keep this up, you got to win it before you're done, right?
Hopefully.
Okay. Is there anything that I didn't ask you about spelling bees or how you study that maybe you think might help you or help somebody else? I mean, you saw a picture and read an article. Other kids come up to you and said, "Okay, what is it about the spelling bee that so makes it so fun?"
um, I like meeting new people a lot because, sometimes there are people from different places at different bees, and it's fun just to meet them and knowing that they like spelling like I do, so we have something in common.
Is there anybody you're kind of looking for or hoping you meet when you go to DC, or do when you go to DC?
I think I'd like to meet Vanya Shivashankar from Olathe. She just seems so sweet and nice, and I think it'd be really cool to meet her.